Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I need to tell you this story. I'm just coming back from our church convention. I'm a member of the Episcopal Church, and our convention happens annually, and folks gather from all over the state, from all over our diocese, coming together to help govern and see forward in the future, but also to celebrate one another and to enjoy communion and fellowship with one another. The theme this year was Kindle Our Hearts and Awaken Our Spirit. And so there was lots of imagery of fire and coals and what have you. And it was amazing. And something kept coming back to me that I heard as a child. And it was explosive and enlightening and all the things at once. And it was my mother. We had a coal stove and we could barely ever afford coal, but my mother would use whatever she found or could use to make a fire to keep us warm. And one of the relatives was over once, and he saw my mother making this fire, and he said, "Man, B can bank a fire. That B can bank a fire." And I remember thinking as a kid, I don't even know what this means, but one day it's going to have meaning. I literally, as a child, said, one day it's going to have meaning. And banking a fire is about smoldering it, building a little wall around it, keeping it down so that that fire underneath glows and grows and keeps the whole place warm. You don't want a huge blaze that will burn off too quickly. You want to bank the fire in such a way that it builds and grows and continues to grow and goes on forever and ever. That bee can bank a fire. And so when that came up to me and I kept thinking about it, I thought about the fact that sometimes you'd see a favorite chair in that fire because we didn't have anything to keep warm. And so she'd have to take that chair apart and put it in that fire. But she used that chair to keep us warm, to keep us alive, to keep us whole, so that for this day we'd still be here. That bee can bank a fire. And sometimes we live our lives in such a way that it's explosive and everybody sees it, and you're this, and we look at that and we look at fame and we look at those fires and we look at that light and we think that's what I want to be, that's what I want to do. But you really want to bank a fire. You want to keep the fire so that it glows and grows and keeps going from generation to generation. That bee can bank a fire. And this morning, on my 63rd birthday, I think about the fire that she placed in my heart for wisdom, for knowledge, for hope, for growth, for joy, for doing the right thing. That bee sure could bank a fire. And sometimes we live our lives so that we do this big thing and we keep moving. We move into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And we just blaze it out. And we don't even think about that chair that had to go into the fire to keep us warm. We think about what we lost. We don't think about the warmth that we gained in the moment where it was so cold that there could have been death. That bee can bank a fire. And so today, I'm just going to ask you to think about the fires that you have banked. Look it up if you don't understand it fully. Banking a fire is not about setting the world on fire. It's about keeping the world warm, keeping it whole, keeping it healthy, keeping it growing, keeping it going, banking a fire. Last night, we released the first course in Better University, Diversity and Belonging 101. And so many of you pre-ordered it, so you already have that pre-order. And those of you who did not, you order it today, you will get it today. And it is an hour and a half of wisdom and understanding about diversity and belonging that flips the script, that gives us something that is not these sparks that just burst forth from time to time and then go away, but they last forever within the life of each learner, of each lesson, of each growth. And I honestly want to say to you that if you want to do something for me on my birthday, please get that course and learn it. If there's anything that I've ever done to build a fire in you, keep learning and shining this light, because the divisions in the world only last if we don't bank the fires in our community, if we don't build the truth and put it out there to keep us all warm, to keep us all in community, to keep us all together. I realized this weekend that hope plays the long game. Wisdom plays the long game. And there is nothing that you can't do that is good and right and pure and worthy of praise that will not last forever. I hope that somebody says of you, Mary can bank a fire, Tony can bake a fire, that Kathy can bank a fire. And I hope they say of me that Bertice sure can bank a fire. I love you.